I'm currently making a Nantes orange and cardamom butter sauce that I want to serve with the fish tonight. I want to show you how I want to make this sauce. So I'm going to start with an orange and I want to zest it. I'm just going to use a peeler here. You could use a paring knife. I want to be really gentle with the way I do this because I only want the zest and not any of the white. You see that? That's perfect. I'm going to try to avoid the white. For example, if I were to do it harder, if I'm harder on my hand, see all this pith in it? I don't want that. That's gonna make it bitter. So I want to stick to pieces like this where I have very minimal. That one's probably a little too much. Very minimal of the white. I've chopped up the zest to be very fine like this. Just nothing too special. And this is how I do it. I kind of take a few of them. I put them together, and I just cut really thin slices like this. You see? Okay, now that I've cut them into really fine strips, I'm just gonna go ahead and chop them just like this. Really finely. Okay, now that my orange peels are put aside, I also chopped some shallots pretty finely, and I'm gonna sweat them. And sweating something means that you don't want any color on it. You just want to do a lower heat just until they're fragrant and translucent. Okay, this has been on the stovetop for maybe like a minute and a half. You see how it's just kind of like this. There's no color in here. I don't want any browning for this sauce. And so now I'm going to add the orange zest. These fine little pieces like this. I'm just going to cook it down just a little bit before I put in the white wine. Now I'm adding a little bit of white wine. I'm actually adding white wine vinegar, but you should just add white wine. I'll let that reduce down a little bit, let the flavors come together. So here I have green cardamom pods. You could just use cardamom powder or any kind of form of it you'd like. But since I have pods, I'm gonna just smash it a little bit to let the flavors come out. And I'm just gonna throw this into the pot too with the sauce. Okay, now I'm gonna add fresh squeezed orange juice. I wanna use this seed to catch any seeds. But the way I know that it's ready for this step is because you see how it's like, there's not much liquid in it anymore. It's going pop, 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 because it's already evaporated most of the water. And so now I'm gonna add my orange juice. Okay, I have my orange juice, cardamom, orange zest, white wine, shallots in here. And I did a dash of salt. Now I'm just gonna reduce. So just like high heat, I wanna wait till this evaporates more. Okay, you see how the orange juice has reduced and it's thickened up? That's what I'm looking for. And now I wanna add heavy cream. And I'm gonna just let it sit while I continue on with the rest of my, creating my dinner. And so there are certain ingredients that are more fat soluble. So the fat essentially absorbs the flavors. So things like chili oil, it's so like potent and delicious and strong because that chili is very fat soluble in the oil that it's in. And same concept for this, where I'm about to add heavy cream, and something like orange zest is also fat soluble. So any zest you add, the fat's going to absorb it, and that's how you're going to get your flavor profile. So I'm going to go ahead and add that cream now. I'm just adding some standard cream. I'm just going to stir that around and let it sit while I continue with my fish now. Some of you may already seen on Instagram or TikTok this dish that was, it's like a Michelin star style dish with a white fish, and it has potato scales on it with this sauce, which is the sauce I'm making. So I'll be showing you the beginning steps for that as well. So today I'm going to be using a mandolin, which is this device here. To be very careful not to like chop your fingers for this, but I'm on level 1, which is the finest and thinnest level. In culinary school, when we made this recipe, we had to peel the potatoes, but since I'm gonna be punching them out like scales like this anyway, and you see how I'm not even getting close to the outside, I'm not gonna peel it. So I'm just gonna put it through my mandolin, just like this. So I have these super thin slices that I wanna punch the scales out. Okay, now that I have my potato fish scales cut out, I just par cook them in some oil over the stove on a low heat. And part cooked just means I'm cooking it through a little bit, not all the way through. I don't want any color. I just want them soft enough that they're pliable and I can handle it to put them on the fish. And the reason you have to do this to potatoes when you're putting on a fish like this is even though they're very thin, fish and seafood cook very fast. So if I were to put the potatoes raw onto the fish and try to just sear it and cook it like that, it would not be enough time to cook the potatoes and it would just end up overcooking the fish. So that's why I have to do this method. Okay, now that I've par cooked them, now that you see how they're like flimsy like this, now I'm putting them one by one on the fish like scales. It's very tedious, but it can be very satisfying at the end. So I just layer it, leave no area where you could see any of the fish. I'm about to cook the fish now, and I'm gonna cook it leaving the potato scale side down almost the entire time. And so when I put the fish in, I'm gonna go for medium heat on the pan, and I'm not going to touch it. I know it's very tempting to want to keep flipping it or looking or seeing if it's nice and brown enough. You must just leave it just for a few minutes first, and then you'll know to flip it because the edges where the potatoes are will start becoming a little bit brown. And at this point, you could peek underneath to see if it's ready, but I wouldn't just keep flipping it throughout the whole time. Once it's ready, I want to flip it one more time and leave it on the other side for just like 10 to 20 seconds. Fish is easily overcooked, so I just want to hit it on the other side and take it off the heat immediately. I cooked it. It looks really nice. Okay, my sauce has been sitting with the heavy cream. Normally you would mount this with butter, but I want to save the calories and not. And I don't really think it affects the flavor that much. So I'm just going to go ahead and plate it. I'm going to put it all over my plate here. A lot of sauce. And then I'm going to put my fish right on top. And look at how beautiful that is. Wow. Nice crispy potato. Fish is flaky over here. See that? Not overcooked. Beautiful with that really luxurious sauce. That's a perfect. Look at that with that really creamy orange sauce. Let's take a bite. It's really good.